So that would be helpful. Those of you who are not testifying but subsequently decide that you'd like to go on the record in some form or fashion, you can do so in writing, by mail, by email, to us, preferably within the next week before the record is closed. Mr. Gottfried, anything?
I don't have anything to add.
With that, we'll call the first witness, who is Stephen Rosario, Senior Director, Northeast Region, American Chemistry Council.
Sure. Good afternoon, Assemblyman Sweeney, Assemblyman Gottfried. Always good to be before your committee again, as I have many times in the past. For the record, my name is Steve Rosario. I am Senior Director for the American Chemistry Council, Northeast Region. I'm also Executive Director of the State Association, the New York State Chemical Alliance. With me is Jackson Morrell, who is Director of our Chemical Products and Technology Division in our Washington office. As you know, I am based here in New York, in Albany, and am a native New Yorker. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak here this afternoon. And as I always like to do, to give a little description of who we are and what we do. The business of chemistry and plastics technology here in New York State and in the United States is a major backbone of our economy. We employ between the two industries over 1 million men and women, mothers and fathers, who make product here in America and around the world. 96% of every product in commerce is touched by our industry at some point in the value chain. As you know, you've heard me joke, I don't know what that 4% that we don't touch is, although maybe some of our technical experts will one day educate me on that. Regarding the issue before us, the reason why we are here, as you know, ACC and the New York State Chemical Alliance has not been involved in the flame retardant issue. We have not been involved in this issue for over 5 years. For purposes of full disclosure, back in 2007, ACC was involved. Back when the legislature was debating OCTA and PENTA. We were involved for about a year or so, and then those responsibilities were no longer part of our portfolio. As of Friday, this past Friday, there has been a transition where the companies dealing with flame retardants have come into the ACC family for advocacy, for science, for technical expertise, and many other areas. So this is a brand new day for us in terms of dealing with this issue. As a result, we are looking to move forward on this issue. I will not opine on either the Tribune series or what took place before us because we were not involved. And again, I think that we need to start looking forward in terms of how we can provide the kind of information to the legislature, and not only here in New York, I cover 9 other states, how we can provide good quality information, because a lot of what I do, and again, you've heard me say this many times before your committee, that a lot of what we do is attempt to educate legislators and the public and inform the public about chemistry, because it is a complicated and difficult subject. I, for one, do not have a chemistry background, although having represented this industry for about 21 years, going on 22 actually next month, I know enough chemistry to be dangerous. The reason why I asked Jackson to come up with me is, again, in terms of how we are structured and how serious we take product safety, science, and issues of concern with our products. ACC has about 60 plus individual panels. These are groups of our companies with our experts, our scientists, our engineers, etc., around either one particular chemical compound or a family of compounds, and that is all they do. So when I look for information to provide to legislators, it is them that I look to. And Jackson heads our newest panel, the North American Flame Retardant Alliance. So let me turn it over to Jackson to take it from there.
Okay. Thank you, Steve, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today. Again, for the record, my name is Jackson Morrill, and I'm the director of the American Chemistry Council's North American Flame Retardant Alliance. And I hope to at least give you an introduction to NAFRA today and hopefully start an ongoing dialogue on the safe and effective use of flame retardants going forward. NAFRA was formed to serve as a lead organization for flame retardant producers and users in North America. And the group's core mission is to promote the safe and effective use of flame retardants. As I hope many of you can understand, flame retardants are widely recognized as a key tool in what we call the fire safety toolbox, which would include a number of other innovations like sprinklers, smoke detectors, and together with flame retardants, these innovations have had a dramatic difference in reducing fires, injuries, and deaths related to fires. And this is at the same time when fuel loads and potentially flammable materials have increased dramatically in housing, office space, and transportation over recent decades. And so there's a well-documented, it's in the scientific literature and in other areas, there's well-documented evidence that flame retardants do work. And I know that's been somewhat called into question of late, and I'm happy to share that information with you going forward. In fact, we have a website. It's called www.flameretardants.americanchemistry.com, and among the many things we have on that webpage is an FAQ that we've put together on the question, do flame retardants work? And we cite to several studies that I think demonstrate that pretty effectively. In addition, it's important to remind folks that in the U.S. there are dozens of laws that govern the manufacture and use of chemicals, and flame retardants fall within that oversight. The Toxic Substances Control Act is one of the primary laws, and among the many elements to that law, all new chemicals have to be rigorously evaluated by EPA prior to commercial manufacture. This industry is also part of the global in global commerce, and as such is subject to meeting rigorous foreign standards. And I would just highlight in particular that there are several EU risk assessments that have been published on flame retardants. In many cases, these are the most complete risk assessments that governments have made in reviewing these substances. And although they're largely focused on the European market, I think they really draw on reference materials from around the world, including the U.S., and as such, we believe that these assessments can and should be used when considering the overall environmental and human health profile of flame retardants here in the United States. The flame retardant industry itself is committed to safety, both in the flame retardants they make and in the fire safety services that they provide to everyone. And even before regulatory actions have taken place, this industry has moved forward in helping the supply chain to transition away from certain flame retardants into newer and improved flame retardant products. Now, I know that we're here today to talk about flame retardants in children's products. And from the fire safety side, I'd just like to note that the research shows that fires are still a major safety concern, and they actually disproportionately affect the very young. And this is why, for example, car seats must meet the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration regulations for burn resistance. As manufacturers of children's products examine their use of flame retardants, we at NAFRA look forward to providing them the support they need to make informed choices. We also very much look forward to providing policymakers with the data that's required to make science-driven, informed policy decisions. So with that, thank you. I just again like to repeat our website. It's flameretardants.americanchemistry.com, and I would invite all of you to please visit our site. Thank you.
In conclusion, we will work with the committee on this particular issue going forward, as we have on many other chemistry issues going back to the days when Congressman Maurice Hinchey was chair of the Environment Committee in the Assembly, and will make available information as we prepare to take this issue on to inform legislators and the public. Thank you again for this opportunity. We're more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.